Hey everybody, welcome back to Stringman Guitars. Today we have a string change and setup on an Ibanex Geo Sound Gear bass. Basic bass, nice and light. Surprisingly, there's no fret sprout. There are flats on here now, and we're going to put some of these, you can't see, Labella bean flats on there, but let's see what's on here to begin with. Looks like 103s maybe, but he's going with ultralight, so it's definitely going to need a setup. So got a nice solid bridge here, a lot of DNA on it, and I brought it up to tune. See, just checking everything. Yeah, let's get the strings off and go ahead and make the adjustments that we may need to make. Alright, so strings are off, now cleanup begins. I'm going to clean the frets, polish them up a little bit with some steel wool, or if you're from the EU, I've heard it called wire wool. Yeah, this is I think 3/0 steel wool. It does a really good job, as you can see, shining up the frets. Okay, the frets are cleaned up a bit, as you can see. And the next trick is to get all the DNA off the fingerboard, and I use simple green for that. It doesn't harm the rosewood, or whatever this wood is. I'm going to guess rosewood. It's not that dirty. Yeah, pretty dirty. So then you just wipe it off. Get another paper towel because that one's kind of wet. Ah, my air conditioning finally came on. It feels good. Blowing right on my back. Even with my humidifier set at 50%, or 45%, it can't even keep it below 60 down here. And we're in a drought. Okay. So the fingerboard is clean. Now we take some F1 and lubricate the wood. Open the bottle first. And we're not going to marinate this, we're just going to rub it in and rub it out. Oh, and shout out to Steve, who sent me a replenishment bottle of F1. Thank you, Steve. I had to beg like 6 times. I'm running out, guys. Hook me up. So. What I should do is set up a Patreon channel so that I can pay for some of the supplies as I make these videos, so you guys can figure out how to do this stuff yourself. But I'm not all into that yet. I'm at 180 some subscribers last time I checked, about 3 days ago. You guys could boost me up to 200. I'll be 800 away from being able to, or is it 1800 away from being able to monetize my channel. YouTube has got so many content providers that they've really made it thin for those who can make any kind of money off of this. So that's why people are jumping on Patreon. Okay, so we have a nice clean. So we have a nice clean and shiny fretboard. Next thing we do is we tighten up the bushings, snug them up, not tighten them up. We're not cranking them, we're just going to get them close. Not the bushings, but the nuts that are holding the tuners in place. And on an import, they're 15 millimeter. So that's good to go. Let's do a free strike on the headstock and on the body, just to get some of the dirt off that I won't be able to get off whenever I've got strings on. Looks much nicer without all that gunk on it. Oh yeah. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to tighten down the screws on the bridge. Once again, we're going to snug up the screws on the bridge. Well, that's always disappointing to see. Somebody's been there before. Now, Buddy bought this off of Craigslist. He says he's had it to the big box store that we all know about. Guy did a totally backwards setup on it because he didn't realize it was lefty. And I'm just now putting I was tightening the screws to the bridge, as I was saying, only to find out that the far rear screw is stripped. I put a piece of matchstick down there with some wood glue. That will do the trick. Put our screw back in, everything will dry up just fine, and it'll be tight. Always look for, if you heard that clunk, always look for or listen for that clunk. That means that the screw has fallen into the threads that were first put in there whenever the thing was put together. Alright, now we have a properly seated bridge and we can continue. Here's something interesting. They give you a number on the end of the string. It's a little cube to tell you what string it is. The Adagio, they use the colored system, or any ball you have to guess. It's not a real big deal, but yeah, it's unique. I like it. So, how do we install strings on a bass when we have these center posts? So what we do is we want to go one 1.5 spaces past. 1.5. And we're going to snip it right past the tuner, so there you have it. So, now get this wound up, put it in the hole, bring it down, and around, and around, and you have to do the rest by hand. You want to wind under the wind above that. There you go. 3 winds. Nice. So I'm going to continue doing this, finish it off. I'll be back. Alright. We're strung up with new flats, and one thing isn't making sense to me. Let's see. Nope. It is a 34-inch scale, but the strings that he got are stainless steel, extra light, standard long scale, which is my guess why I think he needed a shorter scale string, because there is a bit of the non-silk, about half a turn into this last tuner on the G. I don't think that makes much of a difference, because all your strain points are on the other side, so I don't think that's going to make any difference. But at any rate, feature case, buy strings that you're sure that will fit a 34-inch scale. So, first time I've run into that, so I'm not 100% right. So just for what it's worth. Alright, so I was checking out the knobulators here, and let's see if we turn it up. Getting a little bit of noise in the. That's just from not being used much. We're going to let the guitar settle, because we have different gauge strings, and I want the neck to settle, and the strings come back and stretch the strings again, and let everything settle before we do the rest of it. So see you in about an hour. Welcome back, boys and girls. We've had a chance to let this thing sit and do what it's got to do, settle back and everything. So we made some truss rod adjustments. Let's see where we are with the relief. I'd like to see 12, but it was actually playing okay at 10 with really low string action. So let's see where we are here. Tune it up first. So we'll throw the capo on. And we're going to grab the 12, go to the 15th fret, and we're going to check it at the 7th. And it's a little tight. Actually a little tight for the tenant, or the 10,000s as well. Now let's check it. Doing everything backwards here. Try the 12,000s. The 7th. And that feels perfect. Alright. So the neck is where we want it. String height. That is a tight jack. They put a good jack in this thing. Alright. So we want about 6/64. So do metric. 6/64 and bang, we're there. 6/64, 7/64. So this one's got to come down some. Stand by and let me adjust the string height. I'll be right back. Alright, boys and girls, our Ibanex Geo is dialed in for string height, for relief, and the last thing I want to check is going to be the intonation. So hold on to your horses for that. Oh yeah, the other thing is, it's apparent that the big box store guy didn't bother to check the pickup height at all. He had it set for a right-hand player. So we're going to fix that. I need my screwdriver. There it is. So this side's way too high. And the reason I want to do this before I do intonation is because the magnetic pull on the strings will affect the intonation. Just a hair more. Hair more. Okay, perfect. And we go to the next size, smaller, which is going to give us our G, and that's too high also. All I'm doing here is holding down at the last fret and using these bent brass gauges that give me my proper string height for the pickup. And go down a little bit more. Okay, good. Now, on to intonation. Put the tuner back in. See if this thing whirls like it does, like a real Peterson whirls. Nope, no simulated whirling. Good. Okay. flat there, so we can move the saddle forward just a hair. Good. Good. Okay, intonation is in. No scratchy in the knobs. All that's left to do is to shine it up and get it out of here. If you need your axe sharpened, hit me up on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Learn more. Otherwise, take care of your neighbor and play some rock and roll. Have yourself a great night.